Hi, my name is Karia. I am 33 years old, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my life and having Dandy Walker hydrocephalus. I was diagnosed at the age of 28 years old. Um, I have about 40% fluid. Um, I, I growing up, I always felt like there was something amiss, but there was no really good insurance, there were no really good doctors. I went to college. When I was in college, I had a lot of help from the um, Learning Center, which was a sort of a mix of support for people with disabilities, physical disabilities, and learning disabilities. And I was able to access the resources due to just some amazing people. I wasn't really required to have any kind of diagnosis. I just used the resources that were available and that I thought might help. And then when I was 28 years old, I was when I was 27. When I was 27, I got married and I got health insurance that kicked in. Um, and so when I was 28, I went and I went for a regular checkup, and I was having problems seeing, and so my primary recommended I go to an eye doctor. The eye doctor recommended I go to a neuro-ophthalmologist, and it just sort of spiraled from there. One of the doctors ended up recommending that I get an MRI because of the problems I was having seeing and not being able to get a prescription. So I went and I got the MRI, and the doctor who told me was, he was very frantic. He was like, "Oh my God, you have all this fluid in the brain. We have to do a shunt right now." And I was just like overwhelmed, and I decided, and I'm glad I did. I decided to sort of do some more research and find out more about it, and I decided not to do a shunt and to sort of just allow for some experimentation, just to sort of see over time how it's doing. That was 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, because that was in 2008. And I was diagnosed in early 2009 when I was 28. Um, so that's how that part of my life has been. I have been extremely lucky. Have had very supportive spouse, very supportive friends, very supportive family, very good health care, and it, I count myself to be very, very lucky. I know people say, were you upset when you found out? And honestly, I was relieved because I lived my whole life and I dealt with a lot of bullying when I was in school. I was bullied in elementary school. I was bullied in junior high school. I was bullied in high school. And I remember in college, I had one professor who we had um, we had written summaries in our grades. So one professor wrote in my record, this person claims she has some sort of disability, but I don't believe it. I think she's just lazy. So a lot of my life was dealing with that sort of thing. Um, Grad school was different. I didn't finish grad school because it just got to be, that's my cat. I have two cats. Um, it just got to be like too much for me. So I ended up not finishing grad school, which is fine. I'm not upset about that at all. But the second part of my life has been a lot. When I was 14, my mother taught me to crochet because my sister was doing an art class. This was the days when kids still had art class. And for her art class, she was learning to crochet. And so I learned to crochet when I was 14. And I just sort of ran with it, and it became a huge part of my life. And for the next 10 years, I was pretty much crocheting basically all the time. I was crocheting in class, I was crocheting at home, I was crocheting all sorts of things. Then when I was 24, I'm sorry. Then when I was then in night then oh, I think it was 2004. Yes, I was 24. I had a really bad breakup and I just wanted something to do. So I taught myself to knit using videos on YouTube. Oh, here she comes. Oh my God, that's my cat. I'm so sorry. Um, I guess you can still see me, so I'll keep talking. So I learned to knit. Um, I taught myself to knit when I was 24, and I kept knitting, So knitting, I added that to part of the things that I do, and then just recently, like a year and a half ago, I started spinning. So then spinning became a big part of my life, and I got this is my spinning wheel, and so now spinning is a huge part of what I do. Um, and it's very relaxing. It's very fulfilling.